Marshall Bruce Mathers III, born October 17, 1972, known professionally as Eminem, is an American rapper. He is credited with popularizing hip-hop in Middle America and is widely regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. His global success is considered to have broken racial barriers to the acceptance of white rappers in popular music. While much of his transgressive work during the late 1990s and early 2000s made him a controversial figure, he came to be a representation of popular angst of the American underclass and has been cited as an influence by and upon many artists working in various genres. Early life. Marshall Bruce Mathers III was born on October 17, 1972, in St. Joseph, Missouri, the only child of Marshall Bruce Mathers Jr. and Deborah Rae Debbie née Nelson. That he is of Scottish, Welsh, English, Cherokee, German, Swiss, Polish, and possibly Luxembourgish ancestry. His mother nearly died during her 73-hour labor with him. Eminem's parents were in a band called Daddy Warbucks, playing in Ramada Inns along the Dakotas-Montana border before they separated. His father abandoned his family when Eminem was a year and a half old, and Eminem was raised only by his mother, Debbie, in poverty. His mother later had a son named Nathan Nate Kane Samara. At age 12, Eminem and his mother had moved several times and lived in several towns and cities in Missouri, including St. Joseph, Savannah, and Kansas City, before settling in Warren, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. Eminem frequently fought with his mother, whom a social worker described as having a very suspicious, almost paranoid personality. That he wrote letters to his father, but Debbie said that they all came back marked "Return to Sender." Eminem lived near 8 Mile Road in Detroit. When he was a child, a bully named D'Angelo Bailey severely injured Eminem's head in an assault, an incident which Eminem later recounted, with comic exaggeration, on the song Brain Damage. Debbie filed a lawsuit against the public school for this in 1982. The suit was dismissed the following year by a Macomb County, Michigan judge, who said the schools were immune from lawsuits. For much of his youth, Eminem and his mother lived in a working-class, primarily black, Detroit neighborhood. He and Debbie were one of 3 white households on their block, and Eminem was beaten several times by black youths. Eminem was interested in storytelling, aspiring to be a comic book artist before discovering hip-hop. He heard his first rap song, Reckless, featuring Ice-T, on the Breakin' soundtrack, a gift from Debbie's half-brother Ronnie Polkinghorne. His uncle was close to the boy and later became a musical mentor to him. When Polkinghorne committed suicide in 1991, Eminem stopped speaking publicly for days and did not attend his funeral. At age 14, Eminem began rapping with high school friend Mike Ruby. They adopted the names Mannix and Eminem, the latter evolving into Eminem. Eminem snuck into neighboring Osborne High School with friend and fellow rapper Proof for lunchroom freestyle rap battles. On Saturdays, they attended open mic contests at the Hip Hop Shop on West 7 Mile Road, considered ground zero for the Detroit rap scene. Struggling to succeed in a predominantly black industry, Eminem was appreciated by underground hip-hop audiences. When he wrote verses, he wanted most of the words to rhyme. He wrote long words or phrases on paper and, underneath, worked on rhymes for each syllable. Although the words often made little sense, the drill helped Eminem practice sounds and rhymes. In 1987, Debbie allowed runaway Kimberly and Kim Scott to stay at their home. Several years later, Eminem began an on-and-off relationship with Scott. After spending 3 years in 9th grade due to truancy and poor grades, he dropped out of Lincoln High School at age 17. Although interested in English, Eminem never explored literature, preferring comic books, and he disliked math and social studies. Eminem worked at several jobs to help his mother pay the bills. One of the jobs he had was with Little Caesars Pizza in Warren, Michigan. That he later said she often threw him out of the house anyway, often after taking most of his paycheck. When she left to play bingo, he would blast the stereo and write songs. Personal life. Family and relationships. He was twice married to Kimberly and Scott. He met Scott in high school while he stood on a table with his shirt off rapping LL Cool J's I'm Bad. Scott and her twin sister had run away from home. They moved in with Eminem and his mother when he was 15, and he began an on-and-off relationship with Scott in 1989. Mathers and Scott were married in 1999 and divorced in 2001. Although Eminem told Rolling Stone in 2002, "I would rather have a baby through my penis than get married again," he and Scott briefly remarried in January 2006. He filed for divorce in early April, agreeing to joint custody of Hailey. In early 2010, Eminem denied tabloid reports that he and Scott had renewed their romantic relationship. However, in the same statement, his representative also confirmed that they now maintain a friendly relationship. Their daughter, Hailey Jade, is a social media influencer, specifically for fashion and beauty. Eminem legally adopted and was given custody of his sister-in-law's daughter, as well as Scott's child from an affair that he also raised his younger half-brother Nathan. Eminem and actress Brittany Murphy dated in the 2000s. He stated in 2002 that he had been dating singer Mariah Carey, though she later denied it. In 2005, he played alleged voicemails of her during the Anger Management Tour and stated in 2006 that he had dated her for 6 to 7 months, but the two broke up due to the differences in their personalities. In his 2013 song Headlights, Eminem reiterated his love for his mother and apologized to her for some of the lyrics from his songs, with "Cleanin' Out My Closet" being specifically named. 2020 to 2023, Music to be Murdered By and Curtain Call 2. On January 17, 2020, Eminem released another surprise album, Music to be Murdered By. Recorded from 2019 to 2020, the album features guest appearances by Eminem, Royce, da 5 feet 9 inches, Q-Tip, Denon Porter, White Gold, Ed Sheeran, Juice WRLD, Skylar Grey, Anderson .Paak, Don Toliver, KXNG Crooked, Joel Ortiz and Black Thought. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 279,000 album equivalent units in its first week. Subsequently, Eminem became the first artist to have 10 consecutive albums debut at number 1 in the US and one of 6 artists to have released at least 10 US number 1 albums. Music critics praised Eminem's lyrical abilities and the improved production after Kamikaze, while criticism directed towards the album's formulaic song structure, lack of innovation, and shock value. The lyrics of Unaccommodating, in which Eminem referenced the 2017 Manchester Arena bombing, drew significant criticism, with many critics finding the lyrics objectionable. The mayor of Manchester denounced the song's lyrics, describing them as unnecessarily hurtful and deeply disrespectful. The lyrics also drew widespread criticism from victims' relatives and others involved in the attack. On February 9, 2020, Mathers performed Lose Yourself at the 92nd Academy Awards. On March 9, 2020, the music video for the song Godzilla was released on YouTube through Lyrical Lemonade's channel. The video features Mike Tyson and Dr. Dre. As of October 8, 2022, the music video has over 520.9 million views. On March 11, 2020, Music to be Murdered By was certified gold. On July 9, 2020, Kid Cudi's daughter Veda announced via social media that he was releasing a song with Eminem called The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady the coming Friday. A deluxe edition of the album, titled Music to be Murdered By, Side B, was released on December 18, 2020. Similar to Eminem's previous 2 albums, it was released without any prior announcement. It contains a bonus disc with 60 new tracks, with guest appearances by Skylar Grey, DJ Premier, Ty Dolla $ign, Dr. Dre, Sly Piper, MAJ and White Gold. The album's release was accompanied by a music video for Nat, directed by Cole Bennett. Lyric videos for Alfred's Theme and Tone Deaf were also released. In the latter song, Mathers pays tribute to the late Chicago rapper King Von. Music to be Murdered By, Side B debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 3, with 70,000 to 80,000 album equivalent units, including 25,000 to 30,000 in pure album sales. In the track Zeus, he apologizes to Rihanna over a leaked song from his Relapse studio sessions in which he sided with Chris Brown, who pleaded guilty to felony assault involving her in 2009. Eminem featured in a song with Polo G and Mozzie called Last One Standing by Skylar Grey for the soundtrack of the film Venom, Let There Be Carnage, released on September 30, 2021. He performed alongside LL Cool J at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony on October 30. On February 13, 2022, Eminem performed at the Super Bowl 56 halftime show alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, and Mary J. Blige, with surprise appearances from 50 Cent and Anderson .Paak. Eminem and CeeLo Green collaborated on a new track titled The King and I, produced by Dr. Dre for Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie soundtrack. On June 24, 2022, Eminem and Snoop Dogg released a song entitled From the D to the LBC and Reconciled. Eminem announced his second greatest hits album on July 11, 2022, entitled Curtain Call 2, which is a sequel to his first compilation Curtain Call, The Hits. The album covers his albums from Relapse to Music to Be Murdered By, as well as collaborations and songs from movie soundtracks. It was released on August 5, 2022, and also includes The King and I, From the D to the LBC, and an additional new track named Is This Love, 09, featuring 50 Cent. On August 26, 2022, Eminem was featured alongside Kanye West on the remix of the song Use This Gospel on DJ Khaled's new album God Did. The remix was originally set to be released on West's shelved album Jesus is King Part 2. Eminem was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2022. He was presented by Dr. Dre and had special guest appearances by Aerosmith lead vocalists Steven Tyler and Ed Sheeran during his performance. 2024, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace. During an episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live! On March 19, 2024, Dr. Dre stated that Eminem intended to release a new album that year. On April 25, Eminem appeared alongside Roger Goodell at the opening ceremony of the 2024 NFL Draft in Detroit. At the same time, Eminem announced a 12th studio album entitled The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, with a planned release later in the year. The trailer for the album, which was shown on the NFL Network, briefly discusses the murder of the Slim Shady persona in a true crime format. 50 Cent is also featured in a cameo role. The album is produced by Dr. Dre and the ICU. Artistry. Influences, style, and rapping technique. Eminem has cited several MCs as influencing his rapping style, including Eshem, Kool G Rap, Masta Ace, Big Daddy Kane, Tupac Shakur, Nucleus, Ice-T, Mantronix, Mel Mel, On the Message, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Rakim and Boogie Down Productions. And How to Rap. Gorilla Black notes that Eminem studied other MCs to hone his rapping technique. Eminem listened to everything, and that's what made him one of the greats. In the book, other MCs also praise aspects of his rapping technique: varied, humorous subject matter, connecting with his audience, carrying a concept over a series of albums, complex rhyme schemes, bending words so they rhyme, multisyllabic rhymes, many rhymes to a bar, complex rhythms, clear enunciation, and the use of melody and syncopation. Eminem is known to write most of his lyrics on paper. Documented in The Way I Am, taking several days or a week to craft lyrics, being a workaholic and stacking. Vocals. Examples of hip-hop subgenres that Eminem's music has been described as include horrorcore, comedy hip-hop, and hardcore hip-hop. Eminem also incorporates rap rock into his music and has cited rock acts during the 1970s and 1980s, such as Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, as influences in his music. Alter egos. Slim Shady redirects here. For other uses, see Slim Shady, disambiguation. Eminem uses alter egos in his songs for different rapping styles and subject matter. His best-known alter ego, Slim Shady, first appeared on the Slim Shady EP and was in the Slim Shady LP, The Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Encore, Relapse, The Marshall Mathers LP 2, Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By. In this persona, his songs are violent and dark, with a comic twist. Eminem downplayed Slim Shady on Recovery because he felt it did not fit the album's theme. Another character is Ken Conniff, a gay man who pokes fun at Eminem's songs. Ken was created and originally played by fellow Detroit rapper Aristotle on the Slim Shady LP, where Conniff makes a prank call to Eminem. An argument after the album's release prompted Eminem to use the Conniff character on Marshall Mathers and later albums, except Encore and Recovery. Aristotle, angry with Eminem's use of his character, released a mixtape in his Conniff persona ridiculing him. Collaborations and productions. See also, Eminem production discography. Although Eminem usually collaborates with Aftermath Entertainment and Shady Records rappers such as Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, D12, Obi Trice and Yelawolf, he has also worked with Redman, Kid Rock, DMX, Lil Wayne, Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, Drake, Rihanna, Nas, Nicki Minaj, Exhibit, Method Man, Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Sticky Fingers, Tia and Young Jeezy. Eminem rapped a verse in a live performance of Busta Rhymes' Touch It remix at the 2006 BET Music Awards. He appeared on Akon's single Smack That from Convicted, Lil Wayne's hit Drop the World and My Life, the lead single from 50 Cent's Street King Immortal. Eminem was the executive producer of D12's first two albums, Devil's Night and D12 World, Obi Trice's Cheers and Second Rounds on Me and 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' and The Massacre. He has produced songs for other rappers such as Jadakiss, Welcome to D-Block, Jay-Z's Renegade and Moment of Clarity, Lloyd Banks' On Fire, Warrior Part 2 and Hands Up, Tony Yayo's Drama Setter, Trick Trick's Welcome to Detroit and Exhibits My Name and Don't Approach Me. Most of the Eminem show was produced by Eminem and his longtime collaborator, Jeff Bass, and Eminem co-produced Encore with Dr. Dre. In 2004, Eminem was co-executive producer of Tupac's posthumous album Loyal to the Game with Shocker's Mother, Afeni. He produced the UK #1 single Ghetto Gospel, featuring Elton John, The Cross, from the Nas album God's Son, and 8 tracks on Obi Trice's 2006 album Second Rounds on Me, also appearing on There They Go. Eminem produced several tracks on Trick Trick's The Villain, appearing on Who Want It, and produced 4 tracks on Kashi's 2013 album The County Hound 2. Eminem has only produced for and appeared on 1 track with former Aftermath/Interscope label mate The Game, We Ain't, a track from Game's January 2005 debut album, The Documentary. In 2022, Game would later release a 10-minute diss track towards Eminem titled The Black Slim Shady. Eminem is considered unusual in structuring his songs around the lyrics, rather than writing to beats. One exception was Stan, which came from an idea and scratch track produced by the 45 King. After doing little production on Relapse and Recovery, Eminem produced a significant portion of the Marshall Mathers LP too. He said about producing his own music, "Sometimes, I may get something in my head, like an idea or the mood of something that I would want, and I'm not always gonna get that by going through different tracks that other people have made. They don't know what's in my head. I think maybe it helps, a little bit, with diversity, the sound of it, but also, I would get something in my head and want to be able to lay down that idea from scratch." In 1998, when his beef with rapper Cage was still happening, New York rapper Necro, who had previously produced 3 songs for Cage, met Eminem and gave him a CD with the beat to what eventually became the beat for the song Black Helicopters by rap group Nonfixion. Despite Eminem never using it, Necro still said positive things about Eminem and would appear on Shade 45 years later. Comparisons with other artists. As a white performer prominent in a genre influenced by black artists, Eminem has been compared, much to his chagrin, to Elvis Presley, and has lyrically been compared to Bob Dylan. Rapper Asher Roth has been compared to Eminem, and Roth devoted a song on his album, As I Am, to him, which Eminem took offense to. The accomplished trumpeter Nicholas Payton has called Eminem the Bix Beiderbecke of hip-hop. Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. Eminem has written several songs referring to a relationship with R&B singer Mariah Carey, although she denies that they were ever intimate. Eminem has referenced her on many songs, including When the Music Stops, Superman, Jimmy Crack Corn, Bagpipes from Baghdad and The Warning. While Superman was released in 2003, Carey released a song entitled Clown on her album Charm Bracelet, released in 2002, which makes similar references in line with her 2009 hit Obsessed. Eminem's Bagpipes from Baghdad from his album Relapse disparages Carey and rapper/then-husband Nick Cannon's relationship. Cannon responded to Eminem by saying his career is based on racist bigotry and that he would get revenge on Eminem, joking that he may return to rapping. Eminem later stated that the couple misinterpreted the track and it was wishing the two the best. Cannon also stated that there were no hard feelings and that he just had to express his feelings about the song. In 2009, Carey released Obsessed, about an obsessed man who claims to have been in a relationship with her. Cannon claimed that the song was not an insult directed at Eminem. However, Eminem responded in late July 2009 by releasing a track titled The Warning. It contains samples of voicemail recordings, which Eminem claimed were left by Carey when the two were dating. Eminem also hinted that he had other evidence of their relationship in his possession. A little over a year later, in September 2010, Cannon responded with the song I'm a Slick Rick, making fun of Eminem. Moby. After the release of Eminem's 2000 album, The Marshall Mathers LP, popular electronic music artist Moby began speaking out against the album's lyrics, citing references to misogyny and homophobia as unacceptable. Eminem responded back with insulting Moby in Without Me, the lead single off his next album The Eminem Show. In 2004, Moby praised Eminem for criticizing then U.S. President George W. Bush in the song Mosh, a track from Encore. The feud has since ended. In 2022, Eminem said that he regretted attacking Moby. Machine Gun Kelly. Eminem and rapper Machine Gun Kelly have had an ongoing feud for several years, and Kelly released a diss track in response to Not Alike titled Rap Devil in September 2018. Both songs were produced by Ronnie J. Kelly continued the feud at a concert, calling it a battle between the past and the fucking future. The song's title refers to Eminem's rap god, and Eminem went into the studio days later to record his own response, as did former D12 associate Bizarre. Eminem responded with Killshot on September 14th, and Bizarre's Love Tap was released on September 20th. Killshot garnered 38.1 million streams on YouTube in its first 24 hours and over 80 million views in its first week, making it the most successful debut for a hip-hop song and the third biggest debut in the platform's history. The track also debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it Eminem's 20th top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. Kelly has continued the feud publicly. From Kamikaze. Throughout the 2018 album Kamikaze, Eminem's lyrics criticize other musicians, primarily mumble rappers, and several have responded publicly. Ja Rule responded on social media, reigniting a feud the two had 15 years prior. 6ix9ine, Iggy Azalea, Joe Budden, Die Antwoord, Lupe Fiasco, and Lord Jamar have also responded publicly, with 6ix9ine releasing the skit Legend that raps over Eminem's Lose Yourself. Controversies. Legal issues. Eminem had his first run-in with the law at age 20 when he was arrested for his involvement in a drive-by shooting with a paintball gun. The case was dismissed when the victim did not appear in court. On June 3, 2000, Eminem was arrested during an altercation with Douglas Dale at a car audio store in Royal Oak, Michigan, when Eminem pulled out an unloaded gun and pointed it at the ground. The next day, in Warren, Michigan, he was arrested again for assaulting John Guerra in the parking lot of the Hot Rock Cafe when he saw Guerra kissing Eminem's wife. Eminem recreated the Guerra assault in the Kiss skit on The Eminem Show. He pleaded guilty to possession of a concealed weapon and assault, receiving 2 years probation. However, Guerra's assault charge was dropped as part of the plea agreement. On June 28, 2001, Eminem was sentenced to 1 year's probation and community service and was fined about $2,000 on weapon charges stemming from an argument with an employee of Psychopathic Records. In 1999, Eminem's mother sued him for $10 million, claiming he was slandering her on the Slim Shady LP. Litigation concluded in 2001, resulting in an award of $1,600 for her damages. On July 7, 2000, Kim Mathers attempted suicide by slitting her wrists, later suing Eminem for defamation after describing her violent death in Kim. Sanitation worker D'Angelo Bailey sued Eminem for $1 million in 2001, accusing him of invading his privacy by publicizing information placing Bailey in a false light in Brain Damage, a song that portrays him as a violent school bully. Although Bailey admitted picking on Eminem in school, he said he merely bumped Eminem and gave him a little shove. The lawsuit was dismissed on October 20, 2003. Judge Deborah Servito, who wrote a portion of her opinion in rap-like rhyming verse, ruled that it was clear to the public that the lyrics were exaggerated. On March 31, 2002, French jazz pianist Jacques Lausier filed a $10 million lawsuit against Eminem and Dr. Dre, claiming that the beat for Kill You was taken from his instrumental Pulsion. Lausier demanded that sales of the Marshall Mathers LP be halted and any remaining copies destroyed. The case was later settled out of court. In 2006, Eminem was accused of assaulting Mayad Jarbu, a resident of Royal Oak, Michigan, in the bathroom of a Detroit strip club, but was never charged. 2 years later, Jarbu sued Eminem for more than $25,000 in damages. In 2007, Eminem's music publishing company, 8 Mile Style, and Martin Affiliated sued Apple Incorporated and Aftermath Entertainment, claiming that Aftermath was not authorized to negotiate a deal with Apple for digital downloads of 93 Eminem songs on Apple's iTunes. The case against Apple was settled shortly after the trial began, in late September 2009. In July 2010, the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled in FBT Productions, LLC v. Aftermath Records that FBT Productions and Eminem were owed a royalty of 50% of Aftermath's net revenue from licensing his recordings to companies such as Apple, Sprint Corporation, Nextel Communications, Singular, and T-Mobile. In March 2011, the Supreme Court of the United States declined to hear the case. In October 2013, Eminem sampled Chicago-based rap group Hot Still's 2008 viral hit, Lookin' Boy, for his 2013 hit single Rap God. The group claims that Eminem did not receive permission to use the sample, nor did he credit or compensate them. In November 2013, Hot Stills released a diss track towards Eminem titled Rap Fraud, where they sample several of his songs and criticize him for not crediting them. In January 2015, TMZ reported that Hot Stills was suing Eminem and his label, Shady Records, for $8 million for using the 25-second sample of Lookin' Boy on his song Rap God without their permission. United States Secret Service. On December 8, 2003, the United States Secret Service reported that it was looking into allegations that Eminem threatened U.S. President George W. Bush and We as Americans, an unreleased bootleg at the time, with the lyrics, "Fuck money, I don't rap for dead presidents. I'd rather see the president dead, it's never been said, but I set precedents." The incident was included in the video for Mosh as a newspaper clipping on a wall with articles about unfortunate incidents in Bush's career. We as Americans eventually appeared on Encore's deluxe edition bonus disc with altered lyrics. The original lyrics can be heard at the end of Immortal Technique's Bin Laden. In 2018 to 2019, the Secret Service interviewed Eminem again regarding threatening lyrics towards President Donald Trump and daughter Ivanka. Allegations of homophobia. Some of Eminem's lyrics have been criticized for being homophobic, and an Australian politician attempted to ban him from the country. Eminem denies the charge, saying that when he was growing up, words such as faggot and queer were used generally in a derogatory manner and not specifically toward homosexuals. During a 2010 60 Minutes interview, journalist Anderson Cooper explored the issue. Cooper, some of the lyrics, like, in the song Criminal you say my words are like a dagger with a jagged edge, that'll stab you in the head, whether you're a fag or les, or the homosex, hermaph or a transvest, pants or dress hate fags? The answer's yes. Eminem, yeah, this scene I came up in. That word was thrown around so much, faggot was like thrown around constantly to each other, like in battling. Cooper, do you not like gay people? Eminem, no, I don't have any problem with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm just like whatever. Eminem was accused yet again of using homophobic words in his lyrics in Rap God, 2013, and explained, I don't know how to say this without saying it how I've said it a million times. But that word, those kind of words, when I came up battle rappin' or whatever, I never really equated those words to actually mean homosexual. Eminem is a friend of gay singer Elton John and publicly supports gay rights. When asked in an interview with the New York Times about the subject of same-sex marriage being legalized in his home state of Michigan, Eminem responded, I think if two people love each other, then what the hell? I think that everyone should have the chance to be equally miserable, if they want, explaining that his overall look on things is a lot more mature than it used to be. Canada. On October 26, 2000, Eminem was scheduled to perform at Toronto's Skydome when Ontario Attorney General Jim Flaherty said that Eminem should not be allowed to enter the country. I personally don't want anyone coming to Canada who will come here and advocate violence against women, he said. Flaherty also said that he was disgusted when he read the lyrics of Kill You, which includes the line, slut, you think I won't choke no whore / till the vocal cords don't work in her throat no more? Although public reaction to Flaherty's position was generally negative, with barring Eminem from the country considered a free speech issue, Liberal MPP Michael Bryant suggested that hate crime charges should be brought against Eminem for advocating violence against women in his lyrics. Robert Everett Green wrote in a Globe and Mail editorial, being offensive is Eminem's job description. Eminem's Toronto concert went on as planned. Legacy. Eminem is one of the best-selling artists in music history, easily the biggest crossover success ever seen in rap. To call him hip-hop's Elvis is correct to a degree, but it's largely inaccurate. Certainly, he was the first white rapper since the Beastie Boys to garner both sales and critical respect, but his impact has exceeded this confining distinction. Stephen Thomas Erlewine. Credited for popularizing hip-hop to a middle American audience, Eminem's unprecedented global commercial success and acclaimed works for a white rapper is widely recognized for breaking racial barriers for the acceptance of white rappers in popular music, rising from rags to riches. Eminem's anger-fueled music represented widespread angst and the reality of American underclass. He has been greatly influential for artists of various genres. Stephen Hill, the then vice president of African American themed television network BET, Black Entertainment Television, said in 2002. Eminem gets a pass in the same vein that back during segregation black folks had to be better than average, had to be the best, to be accepted. He is better than the best. In his own way, he is the best lyricist, alliterator and enunciator out there in hip-hop music. In terms of rapping about the pain that other disenfranchised people feel, there is no one better at their game than Eminem. In 2002, the BBC said that the perception of Eminem as a modern-day William Shakespeare was comparable to the reception of American singer Bob Dylan. Not since Bob Dylan's heyday in the mid-1960s has an artist's output been subjected to such intense academic scrutiny as an exercise in contemporary soul-searching. U.S. critics point to Eminem's vivid portraits of disenfranchised lives, using the stark, direct language of the street as an accurate reflection of social injustice. In addition, the BBC highlighted that, where parents once recoiled in horror to his music, there now seems a greater willingness to acknowledge a music that is striking such a chord among the American young, angry white underclass. Dan Otzi of Vice highlighted that Eminem during the early 2000s was the one artist high school kids seemed to unanimously connect with. He represented everything high school years are about: blind rage, misguided rebellion, adolescent frustration. He was like a human middle finger. An X-rated Dennis the Menace for a dial-up modem generation. Writing for Spin in 2002, rock critic Alan Light compared Eminem to the Beatles' John Lennon. Eminem is even starting to bear a resemblance to one of those rock icons. Marshall Mathers is becoming something like this generation's John Lennon. Lennon and Eminem were both subjects of pickets and protests. They both wrote songs about troubled relationships with their mothers. They both wrote about their strange public lives with their wives. They both wrote about how much they loved their kids. Lennon, of course, was able to find ways to use his voice to advocate for peace rather than just blasting away at litigious family members and various pop stars, but still, few other pop musicians since Lennon have found a way to render their private psychodramas into compelling art as effectively as Eminem. Regarding his rehearsal with Eminem for the Stan duet at the 2001 Grammy Awards, English singer Elton John said, "When Eminem made his entrance, I got goosebumps, the likes of which I have not felt since I first saw Jimi Hendrix, Mick Jagger, James Brown and Aretha Franklin. Eminem was that good. I just thought, fuck, this man is amazing. There are very few performers who can grab you like that the first time, only the greats." John further praised Eminem, saying, "Eminem is a true poet of his time, someone we'll be talking about for decades to come. He tells stories in such a powerful and distinctive way. As a lyricist, he's one of the best ever. Eminem does for his audience what Dylan did for his, he writes how he feels. His anger, vulnerability, and humor come out." Large graffiti picture of a serious-looking Eminem. Eminem graffiti in Shanghai, China. Concerning the controversy surrounding Eminem due to his transgressive music, American entertainer Madonna had said, "I like the fact that Eminem is brash and angry and politically incorrect. He's stirring things up, he's provoking a discussion, he's making people's blood boil. He's reflecting what's going on in society right now. That is what art is supposed to do." American musician Stevie Wonder also said, "Rap to me is a modern blues, a statement of how and where people are at. I think art is a reflection of our society, and people don't like to confront the realities in society. But until we really confront the truth, we are going to have a Tupac or Eminem or Biggie Smalls to remind us about it, and thank God. They force people to look at realities in society." The previously mentioned Bob Dylan praised Eminem, along with other artists, in a 2022 interview with The Wall Street Journal. Eminem has been credited with boosting the careers of hip-hop protégés such as 50 Cent, Yelawolf, Stat Quo, Royce da 5 feet 9 inches, Kashis, Obi Trice, Bobby Creekwater, Boogie and hip-hop groups such as D12 and Slaughterhouse. A number of artists have cited Eminem as an influence, including The Weeknd, Usher, Ray Shremmerd, Logic, Joyner Lucas, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Ed Sheeran, J. Cole, Chance the Rapper, Regina Spektor, Lana Del Rey, and Juice WRLD. Achievements and honors. Main articles, list of awards and nominations received by Eminem and list of Eminem records and achievements. With global sales of over 220 million records, Eminem is one of the best-selling music artists ever. He has had 13 #1 albums on the Billboard 200, 9 solo, 2 with D12 and 1 with Bad Meets Evil. He was the best-selling music artist from 2000 to 2009 in the U.S. according to Nielsen SoundScan. He was also the best-selling male music artist in the United States of the 2010 est. He has sold 47.4 million albums in the country and 107.5 million singles in the U.S. The Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Curtain Call, the hits, Lose Yourself, Love the Way You Lie and Not Afraid have all been certified diamond or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIA. Eminem has over 10 billion views of his music videos on his YouTube Vivo page, and in 2014 Spotify named him the most streamed music artist ever. Among Eminem's awards is 15 Grammy Awards, 8 American Music Awards and 17 Billboard Music Awards. Billboard named him the Artist of the Decade, 2000 to 2009. In 2013, he received the Global Icon Award at that year's MTV Europe Music Awards ceremony. His success in 8 Mile saw him win the 2002 Academy Award for Best Original Song for his song Lose Yourself, co-written with Jeff Bass and Luis Resto, making him the first rapper to receive the award. He also won the MTV Movie and TV Awards for Best Actor in a Movie and Best Breakthrough Performance, and the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Song for Lose Yourself. Eminem has also been included and ranked in several publications' lists. Rolling Stone included him in its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time and the 100 greatest songwriters of all time. He was ranked 9th on MTV's Greatest MCs of All Time list. He was ranked 13th on MTV's 22 Greatest Voices in Music list and 79th on the VH1 100 Greatest Artists of All Time list. He was ranked 82nd on Rolling Stone's The Immortals list. In 2010, MTV Portugal ranked Eminem the 7th biggest icon in popular music history. In 2012, The Source ranked him 6th on their list of the top 50 lyricists of all time, while About.com ranked him 7th on its list of the 50 greatest MCs of our time, 1987 to 2007. In 2015, Eminem was placed 3rd on the 10 best rappers of all time list by Billboard. In 2008, Vibe readers named Eminem the best rapper alive. In 2011, Eminem was labeled the king of hip-hop by Rolling Stone based on an analysis of album sales, chart positions, YouTube views, social media following, concert grosses, industry awards and critical ratings of solo rappers who released music from 2009 to the first half of 2011. Eminem was also inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2022, alongside Duran Duran and Dolly Parton.